It's about that time.
City Views, City Views.
What's happening in your city?
City Views, City Views. City Views, City Views.
You got love for your city?
City Views, City Views. City Views. Ah, City Views, City Views, City Views. Ah, City Views, City Views, City Views, City Views. Ah, City Views, City Views, City Views, City Views, City Views. Ah, City Views, City Views, City Views, City Views, City Views, City Views, City Views.
And we are back for another week of City Views. And we're so glad that you could join us on this, let's just say, journey throughout our neck of the woods.
Yes.
Would you agree with that?
Yes.
And want to welcome my most talented co-host, one and only Karen Thomas,
How are you?
and the rising star himself, Mr. Kareem Holbrook.
How you doing?
Our fourth co-host will not be with us this evening. She is doing the motherly thing tonight.
She is running.
Yeah, she's running.
She's running.
And you know what? I love dear Carice, but she picked the wrong day to run.
I know.
Yeah, it's too hot out there.
It's brutal out there.
This is going to be 3 days of this?
Through Friday.
Dude, we're lucky. They've been getting it out west like this all year.
Wow.
Yeah.
You know?
I'm not a heat person. I would rather have, it's cringe to say the snow. Because then I could put on a sweater. But this here, I can't take things off.
Yeah, you can.
So, well, I can, but you don't want to see that. So,
Speak for yourself, now.
so,
I'm so Mr. Kenny out there. You get with them sentiments.
well, listen. Oh, speaking of Mr. Kenny, if I
Yes.
may.
Yeah, please do. That was a great.
Happy anniversary to the love of my life,
Yes.
Kenneth Ralph Thomas.
Wow.
11
Happy
years
anniversary.
today.
Happy
So
anniversary.
yeah, we celebrated yesterday. We went to the Venetian restaurant,
There you
had
go.
dinner, and so happy anniversary. Mwah, love you. Okay,
Do you appreciate how I did that for you, Kenny?
I do love that how he kind of just rolled it over.
You know?
I do.
But that's because, we love Ken, and I remember when you two got married.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was 11 years
I
ago.
couldn't believe it was, because at that
And people
particular
were-
time, yeah.
And people were like,
Yeah.
People were- I-
He got hooked up. Wait a minute, how much money he got?
yeah, it was funny. And a lot of people are still like, oh my God, they're still married. And it's like, yeah, we married, we happy. And listen, no, seriously, but yeah, he's an amazing man. You
He
know
is,
him.
he is.
He'll do anything, runs, jumps, this and that. He's amazing. And I can't do the food bank, and I can't do my life without him.
Well,
So I'm very, very
That's
happy.
what it's all about.
Yes, it is.
And Kareem, I got to admit, some of the posts that you've been leaving lately on Facebook have been just so enlightening.
Yes.
Thank you, brother. Thank you. That's
and
what I try
think,
to do on my page.
sometimes you might find yourself in a situation and can't really put it into context. You know
Right,
what I'm saying?
right.
And you might see something that you might post, and it kind of, just delineates, the issue so that, you can not only, recognize it and address it, but, so you can kind of start to put that structure in place on how you're going to meet those challenges, So I want to give you some props on that.
Thank you.
And speaking of props, my main man Kareem.
Yes, sir.
Why don't you drop them sponsors for us one time, bro?
Our big city sponsors are brought to you by Toth Insurance Agency, located at 1151 East Main Street in Torrington, Connecticut. Better protection, better value. The number is 860-496-7771. On the web at tothins at oponline.net. Mel Brickman and Health Markets, located at 16 McDermott Ave, Suite 1 in Torrington, Connecticut. You better call Mel. They could be reached at 860-307-1128. On the web at healthmarkets.com/ local-health-ins. Brook, Todd, and McNeil Insurance, located at 69 Water Street in Torrington, Connecticut. They've been keeping an eye on your insurance needs since 1839. The number is 860-598-8753 and on the web at brooktoddandmcneil.com. Dr. Michael Curry, I don't know what's going on. Dr. Michael Curry, located at 30 Peck Road, Suite 2105 in Torrington, Connecticut. Pediatric care for over 50 years. The number is 860-482-8177 and on the web at torringtonpediatrics.com.
And it's just like that, magic. Kareem reappears on the screen.
It was
right,
Smokey
that's
the
right,
Bear
that's right.
one minute,
Yeah,
and
that's
then
right.
it was Kareem.
I was like,
I
how
didn't
did you
know
do that? How did you
I
do
was
that?
like,
I was
yeah,
on fire.
he was,
Yeah,
you
I
know,
was on fire.
he was
Yeah,
putting
yeah.
out fires.
Yeah,
Putting out fires.
man.
Putting out the fire.
What is up with this hair tonight? Oh my gosh!
It's up, girl.
It's up. It's out. It's the heat. It's like pa.
Oh, wow.
You know what I mean? My stomach goes, and my hair is.
Something like that.
You're lucky.
Explosive.
At least you can do POW.
Exactly. You can do
I
pow
can
on
do POW
top.
sometimes.
Sometimes.
In fact, when, because you gotta, and, my cousins, when I just came back, from a weekend trip, visiting the family, and they were kind of like, they weren't digging it, man, They was like, what's up,
Mm-hmm.
You gotta, one ponytail ain't enough, you gotta have two,
Yeah, hey,
you
the more the merrier.
I'm sorry, but that's the way she did
how
it,
it
man.
There you go.
That's
There you
it,
go. You got
know?
it.
I mean, I gotta let the stylist style.
Exactly. Got to let her be.
I'm just a guinea pig.
Do her craft. Her craft.
Well, I mean,
I'm
but
just a guinea pig.
yeah, because have you ever noticed, like hairdressers, and you probably have experienced this. They'll be doing, and you'll see this light go off,
Yeah.
and it's like, then they turn into that mad science.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
So you don't want to say the wrong thing.
Yeah.
Right,
No,
right.
listen, you never, ever insult your hairstylist when
that's
you're in
right.
the chair.
That's not wise.
That's right.
Because they can make it gray,
Yeah.
purple,
They can make it
pink.
rain.
They could chop
They
it
can make it
off.
rain.
Okay, you don't do that.
No, you
ever.
don't. You don't. I must say, guys, like, there's something about when you put water in these cups. I don't know what it is.
Well, last week though,
yours turned. your
Jesus was here.
Yeah, her water turned to wine.
Mine water turned to wine. If you could see, mine is water this week, but last week it almost turned to wine, and it was like a miracle.
Wow.
Sitting here, it was
I was out
amazing.
last week,
Yeah, so you
I
missed that.
I missed that.
And we got to give our main man Joe Severo some props for sitting in for Kareem
Oh, yes.
last week.
He did fabulous.
so much, Joe.
But he was a little nervous, Kareem, because man,
I
Kareem's got some
understand.
big shoes.
Big
to fill.
shoes he
You
did.
know, I understand
you know?
that part. I understand.
Yeah, so he was a little nervous. He was sweating.
Yep.
Oh,
He
yeah?
was sweating.
Yep.
But we powdered him off
jacket
and
on.
everything. Powdered him off everything.
The makeup artist came
Yeah.
out. It was good.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. So
Cool.
Good.
But
Thank
Yeah.
you, Joe.
but that's how we work. We're a team.
That's right.
So we look out for each other, and
That's right.
we wouldn't have it any other way.
That's
Right.
right.
Now, just regressing a little bit about my trip, I couldn't quite get my hands around, because there was a couple, just beautiful weather the whole time that I was
Where were you?
Ohio.
Okay, so you have to tell our audience
Well,
that you
people-
were in Ohio.
yeah, I'm originally from Dayton, Ohio.
Okay.
And when I relocated all those years ago to Manhattan, and then Manhattan to New Haven, and New Haven to Torrington, that's how my job went.
Okay.
But nonetheless, beautiful weather, everything. But I noticed people on the highway. It's like, why are people so mad?
No.
Oh man.
They
I
are
mean-
mad not just the highway. Anywhere you drive.
Anywhere.
Anywhere. They're angry. They're stupid. For lack of, I hate to say it, but people are not driving correctly.
That's right.
They're really, I don't know what they're doing. And I don't like to drive anymore because of that. So it isn't just the highways.
Well, I don't blame you, but I'm trying to figure out why are you. We have cars, Now, if you 200 years ago and you got your horse and buggy, and
Right.
truck,
Pop somebody with
cross
that whip they
continental.
got on.
Yeah.
I can see you can be a little on edge.
Yeah,
You know?
no.
But my goodness, we got cars.
Yeah.
No, people are just really, I think I think society really has changed since after the pandemic.
Yeah.
I really do, with mental health wise and stress levels and things like that, where, you're just instantly incensed, or get out of the way, beep, move, hey, you know what I mean?
Well, I mean, don't we have, more coping skills? Or should,
I think we need to review that, but yeah.
Because I just, I'm sitting here and, driving through the countryside and, looking at all the beautiful homes and the farms and kids playing and, I'm like, why are people so angry?
They're in a hurry
But
To go
being
nowhere.
angry,
to go nowhere.
Go
That's
nowhere.
exactly it.
To go nowhere.
Just because you're in a hurry to get someplace don't mean you got to get there with anger.
Well, you know what? I have a problem when I get hungry, I get hangry. So maybe they were hangry. They were trying to get to Burger King, and you were cruising along, and they were not having it. I'm just saying, because hangry
That's
is
the
a
reason,
problem.
Karen. That's the reason.
The whole world is hangry, okay? They're just hangry, and they're trying to get somewhere, and you're cruising along,
Now,
Jacque,
wait a
and they
minute.
wasn't
Hold up,
having it.
Hold up, cuz. Now, your hanger problems, how do you deal with that in the industry that you're in? Because you're feeding people
Oh,
daily.
yeah, I know. Well, it's and it's difficult, and to be on the serious side, it is. People are struggling. People are struggling to pay their bills, to do what they need to do, and it's funny. So yesterday was Labor Day, right? So I was looking forward to a day off. I was excited, but I knew, because I'm short staffed right now. We have some staff changes, and so I was going to have yesterday off, but I was going to go in for an hour in the morning, just 1 hour. I was going to go in. So I go in for an hour, and then that turned into an hour and a half. And then we got all of these deliveries. Then this happened. And a long story short, I decided, well, let's do a food giveaway. I'm here. We're there. I had the staff, so we did a food giveaway. Wow. So we did that, and we went through, if you could believe this or not, 27 cases of food in 40 minutes.
Wow.
I put it on social media that we were doing the giveaway. We had 6 tables out with all kinds of fresh fruit, vegetables that we had gotten in, and within 40 minutes. So then I get a call from a news station. They called and said, well, we want to come out and cover it. So we did a second round, and we did that, and we gave that all away in like an hour. I went in for 20 minutes, and it turned out to be like half a day. Wow. So it was all good, though, because we fed people, and I think we had over 100 people yesterday that came out that were hungry. They weren't hangry. They were very nice, but they were hungry, and they came out and they got groceries and fresh produce and stuff, and it was a nice day. So my Labor Day, I spent laboring. What did you do, Kareem?
Yeah, just stayed home with the family, cooked out.
Nice.
I'm always cooking out, but got in the hot tub for a
Nice.
little bit.
In this heat,
In
though?
the heat, but I got it down to like 85.
Okay, because we have a hot tub, and I haven't tried that yet.
Oh,
so
that's beautiful.
And with the heat in the air, does
Beautiful.
it?
It's beautiful.
All right, we're gonna have to
Even
do that.
with that,
Yeah.
with the heat,
Yeah.
getting that, the heat with the heat, it cools you off a little
Nice.
bit, a little bit. Not too much,
Nice.
but it went down to like 85.
So was you like Eddie Murphy in the hot tub?
In the hot tub.
Feel good now.
Feel good in the hot tub.
A little bit of heat there.
Heat in the
Put
hot
feet
tub.
everywhere.
I'm in the hot
hot
tub.
tub.
Hot tub ain't hot enough.
That's funny. Do you find yourself going in the winter, though, when it's like snowing
yeah.
out, and like
Oh,
that's
yeah.
what I like the
Yeah,
most.
yeah, that is,
Beautiful.
yeah.
When it's
I just hate
snowing.
getting out.
Well, that's the worst,
That's the
because
worst.
I don't care if it's hot out
Yeah.
outside or even it's cold or whatever.
That
Transition
transition, yeah,
into
that
the
transition
house?
from the house and the wet clothes
and
on
the wet
you,
clothes, and then when you get
man.
inside when it's like air conditioned, and you got the wet,
And the
and
wet
you're,
clothes on, you're still
and
shaking.
Yeah. That's
Still
I have a
shaking.
problem with
You
that.
might have to
Yeah.
build a little corridor.
Oh, yeah.
You
A
know?
little heat corridor,
or something.
some hot lights. something
Yeah,
like that.
yeah. Because I have that, but yeah. So
Doug, is there any way that in the future, for future shows, we can reconfigure the desk so it cuts off my gut? Because
You're not moving my chair.
It's usually I'm usually over that way.
but I'm just seeing my gut hanging
know what I'm
out.
saying?
They say the TV adds like 10 pounds to you.
Yes.
It's adding about 30 to
Right,
me.
but
I'm not this big, ladies and gentlemen, in real life.
listen, in our contract, Carice,
Yeah.
and my contract for this, it said we get behind the table.
That's true.
So you can only see from here up because we know how to do. You need to negotiate your contract a little bit better there, Mr.
See,
Jacque.
that's not fair because, there were terms in my contract that there were must-haves
And you didn't get them.
because I sacrificed for the betterment of the crew.
That's right.
Okay, I wasn't looking to my own needs,
No.
my own desires. I was looking to fulfill the needs of my fellow workers and colleagues.
Okay.
So you should feel pretty good about that, Karen.
I do feel good about that, and I like the fact that nobody could see from anything down. So we're all good on that. They can't
Now,
see
see,
the shoes. My toenail has a flawed pedicure. Okay, we got all kinds of issues going on, but you don't see it because I'm behind the desk. So.
I'm hiding my gut.
Well, Kareem here is like, I'm sure he's won a couple bodybuilding contests.
I know. Look at that.
Nah, I wish. No,
Yeah, he's being
He's being modest,
He's
but
being modest.
not me.
so I'm going to tell you a
Yes.
few things about the food bank.
Well, I'm not talking about. I'm still talking about how big I look on. I'm not this big in real life, Lee. I need y'all to.
Talk about Jay. He's so
Yeah,
vain.
yeah. I have a right to be vain.
My
Let him get
goodness,
it
we'll
out. Let him
just
get it
fix
out.
the
Let him get
chairs
it out.
next week.
I'm upset about this.
I don't. Well, that's like I said. I don't do anything but. You got to learn next year. You have to negotiate that into your contract. Like we
You guys hear that? So next time, when I'm complaining, I'm not happy. I stated my case. So it's not a one-off.
we're not changing it for this season, so you'll have to deal with it.
Okay, Karen, we'll turn the show over to you now.
So Friendly Hands is having their golf tournament on the 24th.
Oh yeah.
So if any of the golfers out there would like to get in on it or sponsors, we have till September 14th, and that is our absolute cutoff. We're doing it at Fairview Farms Golf Course. We've got some fabulous prizes. We've got a brand new set of 4 tires. We've got Snap-on tools. We have got a whole a treasury of wine. We've got a cigar basket of like 25 cigars. We've got a champagne basket. We've got all kinds of fabulous prizes that we're going to be doing, plus the golf that day. If you don't want to golf, you want to just join us for dinner, $50 will get you dinner and into the fabulous raffle prizes. So we've got a car for our hole-in-one, brand new car, Cadillac. And we've got other prizes and things going on. We've got a beautiful photographer going to take everyone's photos that day. So again, Sunday, September 24th, we will be at Fairview Farms Golf Course in Harwinton, and Litchfield County Sports is putting on this golf tournament to benefit Friendly Hands Food Bank, and we hope to see you all out there.
Thumbs up for Tim Gaffney.
Yeah, Tim Gaffney is
LCS.
amazing. He is running around like a fool doing this, so we're very
He
excited.
should be used to it by now, though.
Yeah, I know. Well, he does that for his business.
Yeah, he's
you know.
used to that by now.
So, and we've got some fabulous guests coming up. So, would you like to read the guests?
Yes,
Why don't you read the guests?
I will. So let me be part of the show sometime. You be taking over everything,
I'm
girl.
telling you, read the
My
guests
goodness.
over there.
So aggressive.
You're just looking at
So
your
aggressive.
Stop.
Now this sounds exciting. September 19th, my good friend Kathy Coyle at Brooklyn Memorial.
Love her. I went to high school with her.
You did? Oh,
She was a
wow.
year ahead of me.
Oh,
And her and I
Okay.
go way back. She was a cheerleader
Right.
and all that stuff. Oh, yeah. She was a cheerleader in middle school and high school, so you have to tease her.
now it all makes sense.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
And she married a classmate of mine,
Yep.
Steve Coyle, so
Yep.
they're together, so I know both of them, but she's fabulous.
Awesome. And so we're going to be definitely looking forward to that. September 19th, Brooklyn Memorial.
Yep, that's her.
Okay. And
Next week.
September 12th, next week,
Yep.
is that Mark
Prunicki.
Prunicki.
Yes, from the Torrington Area Youth Service
Youth
Bureau.
Services Bureau.
Yes. Wealth of information.
Yes.
And I think it's important for him to tell, the audience what they do at the Youth Service Bureau,
Right.
how they can help you and services and things like that. So I lined up a couple agencies, as you can see.
Yes. So that will be September 12th, which is on a, is that on
It's
a
a
Wednesday?
Tuesday. Oh, it's a Tuesday.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because the day's the 5th.
Yeah, and then 7 will be the 19th.
Okay,
Yep.
okay, great. Then on September 26th with, is it Renee?
Renee.
Renee.
Yep.
With the Northwest Connecticut Food Hub.
Yes. Have you met her?
It sounds familiar.
Okay. She runs the food hub. A couple years back, she wrote a grant to the Connecticut Department of Agriculture to get money to buy directly from the farmers around here locally, and then source the food out to food banks and various spaces. And she's been fabulous. She got a grant for this year, for the next 3 years through 2025, and she's been supplying us with fresh organic vegetables and produce at the food banks. So she's going to be able to tell us about her journey, how people could get involved, volunteer opportunities and things. So again, that's Renee from the Northwest Connecticut Food Hub.
That sounds pretty cool.
Yes.
Now, I want to jump to this October 24th event.
Yes, because you know Susan, right?
Susan, I think the world of Susan Smith.
Yeah.
She's just a great lady, great kids, great family. And the Cancer Care Fund is one of my more intimate charities.
Yes.
Because I had my mother who passed from pancreatic cancer, but even in the final years of her life, the cancer support systems that she was able to get involved in added quality years to her life.
Yes.
And that's the important aspect of it.
Right.
So the services that the Cancer Care Fund provides allows for the patient to focus on their disease.
Yes.
And for all those other services to be taken care of, so that, because you want to keep the stress level when you're going through, you don't want, you know, you don't want them worrying about, you know, how they're going to get to the next appointment.
Or a bill or something.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. So these support services are just so fundamentally important. And the Cancer Care Fund, in the work that they do, make sure that the residents in this region receive the best care that they can possibly get. So hats off to the Cancer Care Fund. My good friend Susan Smith running the show.
Yes.
All right.
And Carice is filling in these three. She's not here, but she has 3 guests that are going
Yes.
in October. So we're just going to keep them coming. I did speak with the chairman of the Torrington Board of Education, Fiona Capabianca.
Oh, Fiona.
And the new superintendent. They are going to be joining us. I just have to get back to them with a November date. But they were not available. I was going to slip them in tonight, but they have a meeting, blah, blah, blah. So anyway, they're going to be coming on soon as well. So we've got some great people lined up to get the word out about who these people are, services, agencies, you know, and what people are doing. So I'm pretty excited.
That's important. And we don't really, I think we might take it for granted because, you know, we're, you know, a little more closer to the scene. So, you know, we get, you know, information, you know, in terms of, you know, what's going on in the community. But it's not surprising when I hear from people who say they aren't getting the information.
Right.
Or they're not, or they're getting the information after the fact.
Right.
So hopefully here at City Views we can continue to use that communications porthole to make sure that, you know, we're getting that out to the community, because there's so many good things that are happening. And you'll see in some of our future segments with our restaurant segments about, you know, the restaurants that are in this area that provide not only a great atmosphere and great service, but healthy food choices.
Yes.
And that's so important going forward to a community, because we're finding out how closely related your physical and mental health is to what you eat.
Well, there's a program that food is medicine.
Yes.
And it's true. I know that I feel better when I eat salads and vegetables and like that, but I'm really craving, you know, the Whopper, the triple Whopper, you know, and I feel different when I have that. You know what I mean? Like I eat that, I'm like, I wanted to have it, I had the hamburger, and then all of a sudden I don't feel great.
Right.
right.
You know what I mean? But after I have my salad, I'm still gnawing on the table. But I guess that's better than than having the Whopper.
Or going hangry.
Well, no, you don't want to be around me when I'm angry. My husband and I both have that.
I think it's about that time, Kareem.
Yeah, I think it is.
Let's let the audience know who supports
For our big
City
cities,
Views.
yeah, for our big city sponsors, we have Toth Insurance Agency, located at 1151 East Main Street in Torrington, Connecticut. Better protection, better value. They can be reached at 860-496-7771 and on the web at tothins at oponline.net. Mel Brickman and Health Markets, located at 16 McDermott Ave, Suite Number 1 in Torrington, Connecticut. You better call Mel. They can be reached at 860-307-1128 and on the web at healthmarkets.com/local-health-ins. Brooks, Todd, and McNeil Insurance, located at 69 Water Street in Torrington, Connecticut. Keeping an eye on your insurance needs since 1839. They can be reached at 860-598-8753 and on the web at brooktoddmcneil.com. We have Dr. Michael Curry, located at 30 Peck Road, Suite 2105 in Torrington, Connecticut. Pediatric care for over 50 years. They can be reached at 860-482-8177 and on the web at torringtonpediatrics.com.
And thank you, Kareem, for the
welcome.
shout out
Yes, sir.
to our wonderful sponsors.
Yep.
And I think pretty soon
On the line.
I smell something.
You smell state representative?
Something's cooking.
Something's
Yeah.
cooking.
Yeah,
I
what's
think it was that
cooking?
Chinese. out there that-
We didn't have none either.
I know. Didn't even,
wait a
didn't
minute,
even
hold
on,
offer me
you
a
know.
General Tso piece
know.
of chicken.
Not even.
I did offer you guys some rice. You might not have heard me, but I said you guys can.
He said under his breath.
Yeah.
No, I did. I did
"You want
offer.
some rice?" And I what? Didn't
Like, no, I didn't
But
hear
is
that
she on the
part.
line?
Is she on the line?
No.
Oh, she's not.
Michelle.
She's late.
She's late. Well, you know why she's late?
Why?
Friendly Hands board meets tonight.
Oh, that's-
so she's at Friendly Hands. Well, no, she is actually driving to pick up her husband from the airport, and she's doing Friendly Hands from 6 to 6:30, the board meeting, and then at 6:30 she's going to call in. So she'll be calling in any moment,
Okay.
and we'll be talking to her. She's been busy.
Well,
running around.
She's a state rep.
Well, even though, and let me just say this to you. She has been down at that food bank.
Oh, yeah.
Because we've been short, like I said, some people. And she has been down there sweating it out with us, running around like silliness. But she's down there and just lifting, moving, jumping, running, driving the van and doing all that. So, she's been working this summer,
And-
even though they're not in session.
I was going to say, and that has nothing to do with her job title.
No.
She
Nothing at all.
just
She just
loves
goes.
Torrington.
She does. So, okay, yeah, it doesn't say anything on there, so I want to.
But that's the good thing about Torrington is the stakeholders, the residents in Torrington. One of my sayings is when the chips are down, Torrington steps up.
Right.
And that's always been the case
Yep.
ever since I moved to this community.
Yep.
And that's what makes it special. The people
Right.
in this community are what makes it special.
Now, will I be seeing you Thursday evening? That's a little bit of something to bring up. He doesn't know.
What's on Thursday?
Business after hours at Geppetto Osteria.
Oh.
Oh.
I was just discussing that earlier today with
Joey?
the CEO
Okay.
and president of the Chamber of Commerce.
Well.
For some reason, when you said Thursday, the way you said it, it just
What? No,
Yeah.
and that happens to me because I say, "Oh, I got to see you Thursday," and then my mind goes blank, like, "Oh my God, what is Thursday? Where am I supposed to be? I don't know what you're talking about." Yeah, so I was just
you're
curious.
playing on
'cause
my emotions.
I did, but I'm excited. Have you been there? Because I've not been there to that new restaurant. Well, it's not really new.
No, it's not new anymore.
But I haven't been at all, so I want to see inside and test
Yeah.
out the food. And have you?
I've heard some very good things about
yeah,
it.
I've heard they have like a big old steak,
Yeah, like, and I'm a steak.
like a big old.
I'm a
tomahawk.
steak guy too. So
I am prime rib
yeah,
steak.
oh yeah. Give it to me.
Wow.
So
Well, yeah,
and they also, by what I hear, have a great seafood selection.
Oh, do they?
Yeah.
Well, I'm excited Thursday to
Yeah.
go because I want to do that. And then I have a board meeting for another board that I sit on after that. So I'm going to pop in, have a drink, taste some food, and then
Yeah.
zoop, back out and, run around. So.
Well, Thursdays, we're usually hanging out at Toho Lounge for their jazz night.
right across the street.
That's true.
So you could
That's
just-
why I was bringing it up.
There you go. Just toddle on over there, sir.
Gee,
Just
Karen.
go over there
I'm
and
trying to-
see Jimmy. He fixed his eye.
Oh, yeah?
Did you see?
Jimmy fixed his eye.
Jimmy fixed his eye. Did you see Jimmy's store at the top of East Main for the longest time? It was JMMYS.
Yes.
Okay. And I texted him one day and I said, "It's all fun and games till somebody loses their eye," and his eye is back.
It's back. Oh, okay. All right. Oh.
I'm sure Rob's gonna cringe when he hears that.
Like, fix his eye.
The big
Yeah,
eye was.
I just saw him a couple weeks ago. He looks
You're like-
fine to me.
I know.
I could see your
spoke to
wheels
him.
turn.
Yeah, I
Like,
was like,
what are you talking about?
Something happened and I didn't hear about it. Nobody called me.
Yeah.
Got a
So
patch?
his eye
I don't
is
know.
fixed now.
Well, that's good.
All right.
Because there could be no eye without Jimmy.
Right. And you know what? You should say that to him. Say, "Hey, I heard you got your eye fixed."
Gotcha.
And if you what? So,
Yeah. Oh, we say, Rob, did you know you have a bad eye?
he had a bad eye. It
bad
was
eye.
he was he had a missing eye.
He had a
It
missing-
was
that's
gone.
even worse.
Yeah.
It didn't even have the dot. It was gone. It was Jimmy's. Jimmy's. We have so lost control of this show.
Yeah.
But once we get the guests in, like in the next couple weeks, it's all going to be straightforward and like that. Right now, we're just a little cuckoo. So,
Well, I haven't slept since.
would you just get home yesterday?
No, I got home this morning.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, but the flight was pretty cool. Here's what happened actually. The last flight was so bad that they gave us vouchers.
Turbulence wise?
Wow.
No.
Oh, you
Just-
were not on the diarrhea flight.
No, I wasn't on that
Okay.
flight. I wasn't on that
So I
flight.
was going to say, can you imagine?
No, I can't. But, so, with all the complaints and everything that they had from our last experience to whatever they fixed, they did a good job. Because I was like, you can tell there was a difference
Yeah.
in the way, the TSA people were a lot nicer. The stewardess and they had like a comedy routine going on.
Oh, there you
Oh,
go.
wow.
I mean, 6:30 in the morning is not my favorite time in the morning, but they was like popping off jokes and stuff. I'm like, okay,
Well, they must have slept well.
they
that night.
must have.
Yes.
And they deprived me of mine in the process. So
Okay,
I'm not
yeah.
a happy camper. Let's see what's cooking.
We got to what's cooking right here. So I pushed this one and, oh goodness, is it this one? Oh, I hope I don't lose her. Are you there?
I am here.
There she is.
The magic happens.
Look at that.
Good evening, Michelle.
Good evening, folks. How are you tonight?
We are fantastic, as you can tell.
Well, that's great.
And, it's just the vibe is here. And not only are we receiving it, but we're sending it too.
Yes.
So it's nice to have you on the show.
Well, it's nice to be here on the show.
And by what I hear, you have some pretty cool things coming up here in the next few days. Anything
yes,
you want to share?
I do. Do what, hon?
Anything you want to share?
So what's cooking is I will be hopping on a plane in the morning to head to Nashville. I've been invited to a national conference on early childhood education by an amazing nonprofit called the Hunt Institute. They have their pulse at early childhood education, and they're really helping form and nationwide what early childhood education looks like, and they're a good driver, a great nonprofit. And so I'll be heading to Nashville, and it's a quick trip. It's tomorrow till Friday night late, but we will be discussing literally all things early childhood education for the next 72 hours.
So what are some of the hot themes, hot topics that you're expecting to encounter in this conference?
So I think that some of the things that really we find across the board is certifications. It's salaries, it's education, it's trying to drive the importance of the field and ensuring that people recognize that people deserve to be paid accordingly. You know, and in some states there's no regulations at all for early childhood education, and then other states like ours, we're a leader in that conversation. So not only do we get to go work with folks across the country. I mean, like my trip to the White House a couple months ago, you know, Rhode Island does things really well. Arizona does things really well. Meeting with not only legislators, but governors and the like, to bring to the table what they're doing better than what we do and what we do better than what other people do. And that's what it's about. And I don't think that, you know, reinventing the wheel if somebody's doing something right is necessary. It's just implementing that wheel in our state.
Now, it's interesting because you have to, at some point, put into play the role that social media is having in shaping and developing kids today. What's your personal thoughts on that, and how that can either help or detract from a student's curriculum?
So I think that we need to not let social media be the education for our children and not be the parenting source for our children. And by no means am I not, and I'm no expert. I've raised 4 kids, but I am no expert. And I had kids before social media, and I had kids in social media world. And I will tell you the vast difference of peer pressure and social emotional issues and the like is just, it's awful what our kids have to deal with. I believe that we should have an age to that. I mean, don't get me wrong. It's very difficult to, like, put yourself in somebody else's kitchen and tell them how they're supposed to raise their children because you are the parent. It blows my mind that, you know, you don't get parenting classes before you have a child. You don't get all of those things, but, you know, you can have a child and you can go home with that child, and then you're responsible for making sure that they're a successful adult. Like, that's a lot of pressure. You know, and by the grace of God, we hope that that works out right. You know, so it's also about how we can put birth to 3 supports into that conversation, how we can do home visits. And you know what, I think people need to not be afraid of what a home visit might be, because these are people that are looking to help you, right, not people that are looking to, like, invade your space and take your child because you might be doing something wrong. We all need help sometimes. And we all get overwhelmed sometimes. And it's just hard for us to admit that, especially as moms, to say, hey, look, you know, I can't handle this. But I do believe that there needs to be a true conversation about the appropriate age for social media. You know, I went to a movie the other night, not a movie, a very funny movie, but rated R, and it clearly says for adults only, and a man brought in his 2 kids, and I will tell you that neither one of them, I don't think, were in middle school.
Wow.
And I sat there, and I was just like, I cannot believe that this person has their child there. Or children, or maybe it was their younger brother and sister. I have no idea. But the point of that is we need to lead by examples. And when every other word was, I mean, it was a Will Ferrell movie. It was called Strays, and it was about dogs, right? So the movie is funny, but it's definitely not for kids. And I think that we need to rein in what we think is acceptable practice, what we think is acceptable language, what we think is acceptable comedy, and recognize that our kids need to be kids. And we need to support their ability to be kids.
And I think it's so different now, Michelle. Society is so different than, say, when, you know, you grew up, or when, you know, when I grew up, all of us. Right. That
it is.
You know, it's not the
Karen.
same. It's not, they're not sitting down to dinner. I mean, family dinner tables are rare. If you're doing that, that's great, but it's rare where you get to talk about, or maybe, you know, 2-parent home, or even 1-parent home, or sitting, or all the I mean, there's a myriad of reasons why, but again, like you're saying, the core values begin at home. So, like you said, the birth to 3, I think is amazing that they have that. I know here in Connecticut they have that.
We do.
You know, that you're advocating for that nationwide, you know, to help others.
Well, and, you know, and I think you make a good point, too. And offering parenting classes, you know, people need to understand, and like I said, I'm no way preaching to people. This is simply a conversation. I don't need my emails and my phone and my social media to blow up. That is not what I'm saying at all. But what I'm saying is this is about teaching kids what respect is, and how you treat people, and what the appropriate tone is and the appropriate language is. And I get that culturally that's very different.
Correct.
You know, like I have a son that lives in London, and you know their words and phrasing are totally different than they are here. In the South, it might be different than it is in the North, in the East, in the West. Like it's all different. But at the end of the day, we need to recognize where we are and who we are as a society.
Correct.
And I'm not talking about race, gender. I'm not talking about any of that. I'm talking about the fact that, you know, we need to respect those that are older than us. We need to treat people with respect. You know, I'm gonna go total crazy there and talk, you know, quote the Bible and, you know, treat others as we would be treated, and, you know, honor thy neighbor and
There
all
ain't nothing
those
wrong
things.
with that.
That's right.
No, I'm not saying that there is, but I just know that I'm going to get emails about it. That's all I'm saying. But I
Better
think
you
that-
than mine.
Seriously. But I think that what we need to do, and so when you're asking me the important questions of what we're crafting for a child, right, that is a very fine, delicate line between what we can do and then what the overstep is. And then how do we meet in the middle for people to say, we're not trying to take away your ability to parent. We're trying to help you. We're trying to better the society for your children. And, you know, don't be afraid to let folks in and just to ask for help. You know.
And then it spills over too, Michelle. So,
Correct.
you know, once the kids at a young age, if they're taught or not taught or whatever, then it spills over into the schooling. Now we go into a whole nother subject where teachers have to deal with this. And, you know, it's almost, you know, for lack of better words, but almost like babysitting, because there's some that are well-behaved, have morals, ethics, values, and some that don't. And, you know, all the different directions they come from. I mean, and that spills over into that and goes that direction. So,
But isn't
Right,
it?
and this is kind of, I think, to my point, right? Like, we can do this together. We can have a societal impact together. But if we continue to say, oh, I didn't do it, or I didn't do it, or,
Right.
you know, not in my house, or, you know,
or
you
blaming.
fill in the blank.
Yep.
Right, you know, we need to stop pointing fingers and
Yes.
realize that we are a community, and it takes a village to raise a child. We know that for decades. You know, so when we're sitting around the table trying to establish what a village needs to look like to raise a child, you also have to recognize, too, that every state is a bit different.
Right.
You know, you have small states, then you have big states. You have states that have tribal communities in them. Some of those tribal communities still might not even have running water and electricity, which is horrific in the day and age that we live in.
Right.
You know, what can we do that will help across the board? And then how do we help impact it, you know, from Connecticut to Rhode Island to, you know what, the middle of Montana?
Right.
Or, you know, the tribal nations in the Navajo Nation. Like, what can we do? Because we are responsible for all of them.
Right.
And just because it might not be the children in our state, we are crafting, you know, not only are we crafting legislation statewide, but it's national. And each child deserves that.
Right.
You know, when I
And we only have one shot at this with a child, and we need to get it right.
I think my visit back home really helped me to appreciate how very important it is for your community to be invested in not just the community, but the young people in that community.
Correct.
And
We need to give them things to do.
well, not only that though, because one of the I was able to reconnect with some old friends, and we were talking about how when we were like not being too good, we could never hide because one of our parents would always find out what we were doing.
Right.
No kidding.
And so you could get away with a little bit here, and you might even be on the good side of a parent. They might even maybe hide what you're doing a little bit, but you're going to have to wash some extra dishes.
Yeah. Right.
And we do need to look out for each other. I think that's
Absolutely.
vitally important. The old the saying, see something, say something kind of a deal.
Yeah.
We know that our law enforcement, they're down on staff, and, we need to help each other out. And, I hope that rectifies itself accordingly. But at the end of the day, we do live in this community called Torrington, and I think that we can do that, right? But it's going to take each other, and it's not going to be about judgment.
No.
It's going to be about helping and a handout. And, I think about the people that you have sitting around that table right now and what they do for helping the communities and giving the hand and reaching out. People just, that's why I'm so honored to do what I do, right? It's being able to give people the opportunity. It's why I work with Karen at the food bank. It's why I do a lot of things that I do. It's just really nice to see a smile on people's face and to let somebody know that you care about them.
Right.
But I think, Michelle, that is the carve-out. That is the new values proposition. Each community has to determine what kind of community are you going to be. And last week, again, I was able to be present at the Opioid Task Force's wellness vigil. And it's so heartbreaking to see and to hear, the people who have lost their lives to addiction. But what is so uplifting is the support that comes from the communities to the families that are suffering from those losses. And that's just an indication of, what this community is all about, and understanding and fulfilling those needs when the bill comes due. And if we can continue to work that value proposition so that people understand that kindness and respect go a long way.
That's right.
And
that's true. That's true. And we're not the only community that suffers with addiction or mental health. Like, I don't think that there's a community out there across the country that doesn't have it.
That's right.
But it goes back to my point about judging the person that has that battle. How do we treat people? What are we doing? That, for me, matters. I'm a part of that group. I've said in many of those meetings, last week I lost a kid. I want to say I lost, not my own child, but when I was working at the Connecticut Gin Republic, one of my first kids up there, he was 16 years old, lost his battle with life last week. And it breaks you because you know that he's in his 40s now, or was in his 40s now. And he battled a long time of, rough heartaches and struggles. And maybe now he's much more at peace than he was in this life. But at the end of the day, it still saddens you that you weren't able to help him, or I wasn't able to help him. And, the demons that people live with, we just don't know.
Right.
And somebody might be putting on that happy face each and every day, but the demons inside get them. We need to be aware of that. And we need to be a much more compassionate society. And I'm not saying that we don't have compassionate people, because I know that we do. But I think that often we get caught in the rat race let's go back to what we started. Social media is evil in many, many ways. I mean, there's some great things about it, but there can be some very nasty things. And you read, when people talk about, somebody passed away, or somebody has this, or somebody's that, inevitably there is going to be somebody out there that has an opinion that is definitely not something that should be shared.
Correct.
We need to be better than that.
Right.
I think
Absolutely.
I think we can, and I think that starts with the understanding of planting those seeds of kindness and respect with the youth, so that they understand what and how to respect their elders. It's hard to respect your elders when they're not forthcoming with those values that we all espouse and hold so highly.
You're 100% right. You know, you're 100% right. We are not the Torrington that was Torrington back in 1940s, 50s, and 60s. We are very different. We are much different. That doesn't mean that we're not a good community.
Right. Right.
You know, and it doesn't mean that we don't have good people with great intentions. It just means that we're different.
Right.
And we need to accept that difference, and we need to work together to continue to make us grow. And when I ran for office, you know, the first time, I said Torrington's just a little bit of a stone that needs to be polished up. And I think we've done a nice job polishing us up. We still have a little bit of shining to do.
I agree. All of us, not just one, not just you, not just me, but all of us together as a community. You know, we all need to try a little harder, be a little kinder, and be the model that you want other people to be.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, you know, nothing warms my heart more than, you know, seeing the little, and I know this is kind of off, but like seeing the little libraries on the corners, right, that people have in their yard.
Yeah.
Because take that child that might not be able to afford a book, or the family, you know, might just be in a bad place right now.
Right.
And they can stop on the corner and they can get a book and they can share that book with their family. Like, those for me are the little acts of kindness that matter.
Right.
And you know what? That might be the only book that that child has outside of school.
Right.
You know, and so I do think that as I have the opportunities to put my thinking cap on with some incredible leaders across our great country, you know, from top to bottom and left to right, and it's not, you know, this is not a partisan issue. This is absolutely a bipartisan conversation. There's much to learn, and I do think that we do good things here, but I do know that there's more to do.
Well, we're glad that...
And I look forward to reporting back on what I've learned next week.
Yeah, we're looking forward to that, Michelle. And, you know, we're glad that you're leading this effort from our region, and you represent us so well, you know, with your values and attributes in hand. So we appreciate you and thank you for all the things that you're doing for our community.
Well, thank you. And, you know, now that I'm a grandma twice over, you know, it kind of puts things into a very strange perspective.
I bet it does.
It does.
I bet it does.
Well, we wish you safe travel, and we will talk to you again next week.
Thank you so much. And Karen, I hope you're going to have a quick advertisement on the golf tournament. I'm going back to our board meeting now.
Okay, yes, I did at the beginning of the show, and I will, yes, I'll make sure. Tell everyone I'll be there shortly.
I will. Thank you guys so very much. You have a wonderful week. Be safe out there.
All right, you too.
Bye.
All right, bye-bye.
Kareem,
Yes, sir.
why don't you take us home, bro?
I'll take us home with these T-Town shout-outs. T-Town shout-outs is sponsored by Torrington Downtown Partners, growing downtown Torrington one business at a time. To Dawn's Getaway, located at 24 Winstead Road in Torrington, Connecticut. To Christie's Restaurant, located at 545 Winstead Road in Torrington, Connecticut. To Health Insurance Services, located at 438 Main Street in Torrington, Connecticut. To Wall and Fraunhofer, located at 117 Main Street in Torrington, Connecticut. To Soul's Latina Cafe, located at 31 Hungerford Street in Torrington, Connecticut. To Jimmy's.
Jimmy with an eye.
With the eye.
With the eye.
With the eye. Located at 1238 East Main Street in Torrington, Connecticut. To 5 Point Arts Center, located at 855 University Drive in Torrington, Connecticut. And to George's Music, located at 905 New Harrington Road in Torrington, Connecticut. And to our big city sponsors.
Big city shout out.
Big.
cities.
Big cities.
Big cities. To our to Toth Insurance Agency, located at 1151 East Main Street in Torrington, Connecticut. Better protection, better value. He can be reached at 860-496-7771. Is on the web at tothins at oponline.net. To Mel Brickman and Health Market, located at 16 McDermott Ave in Suite Number 1 in Torrington, Connecticut. Better call Mel. Better call Mel. He can be reached at 860-307-1128 and on the web at healthmarkets.com/local-health-ins. To Brooke Todd and McNeil Insurance, located at 69 Water Street in Torrington, Connecticut, keeping an eye on your insurance needs since 1839. They can be reached at 860-598-8753 and on the web at brooketoddmcneil.com. To Dr. Michael Curry, located at 30 Peck Road, Suite 2105 in Torrington, Connecticut. Pediatric care for over 50 years. He can be reached at 860-482-8177 and on the web at torringtonpediatrics.com.
Beautiful.
Thank you very
Yes.
much, Kareem.
sir.
Thank you for
the
our
shout out.
sponsors,
Yes.
to all of you
Thank
who
you,
support
sir.
us and
Thank
allow
you.
us to be on air.
Now, we want to encourage you to participate and engage with City Views on our YouTube channel or on our Facebook page. You can suggest topics. You can suggest guests. You can suggest our wardrobe, okay? It's all
Okay,
open.
that's so not happening. I just, no.
No?
Well, you can
You could suggest.
Yeah,
but
you could
what-
Suggest it. I mean that we gonna,
yeah,
take
we
it
got,
all
I
in,
go,
you
yeah,
know.
we got.
I'm down with a few suggestions because
I'm down.
unlike my co-host here, I'm open to other.
He's open to wardrobe suggestions. I, however, am not. Okay, so we'll
All right.
just leave it at that. But
So-
suggestions about show topics.
You can definitely do that.
Bring that,
Sure.
yeah. And
can
you want to
definitely
be
do
on
that.
the show?
Yeah.
Would you like to be on the show?
There you go. See?
Okay.
Simple as that.
Yep.
30 years running, ladies and gentlemen, City Views,
That's amazing.
providing the very, very best that Torrington has to offer. So with that being said, we want to thank you for tuning in to the show. Unfortunately, Dan Yannick, our stage director, was not able to be here with us this evening, but Dan, somehow we got through it. I don't know how, but somehow we did. So we'll see you back next week, and we'll be looking forward to that.
Yes.
In the meantime, on behalf of my esteemed co-hosts and colleagues for City Views, Kareem Holbrook, and the lovely and talented Miss Cannon Thomas, we'll see you back for more City Views coming at you right here from Altice.
Peace.
Access Channel 5.
Yes, sir.
We out.
City Views, City Views, City Views.